You've tuned into The Mountain Gardener with your host, Ken Lane. Gardening, it can be challenging, but with these simple insider tips, you'll reap huge rewards. Now, let's tune into today's Mountain Gardener with Ken and Lisa. And welcome to this week's edition of The Mountain Gardener. Your host, Ken Lane, here every week talking about the landscapes of northern Arizona. And it is autumn. Oh, it is the best season in the mountains you could wish for. This is why we live up here. It never gets too cold in winter, but it's still cold. It never gets too hot in summer, but it's still hot. It's about right in spring, but it's windy. But autumn, oh my gosh, this is the time we shine. The trees are starting to change a little bit of color. And I'm getting some questions here at Watters Garden Center, at least here in Prescott, where my neighbor's trees have turned colors. Mine haven't. What's going on? You gardeners, you are so impatient. My goodness. All trees don't turn at the same time. They change in waves, and it depends on if your tree is at the bottom of a hill where a little colder air settles, it might turn sooner. If you're on the east side of a hill, that's going to be a different turn cycle than on the west side. So depending on the exposure, the temperature, the light will change when your Virginia creeper will start turning red, when your burning bush will start burning bright red, when your Armstrong maples start turning orange. You'll have, just because your neighbors turned a few days, maybe a week to 10 days before you did, just be patient. Your turn will come. Promise, your turn will come. So just kind of watch that in your neighborhood, especially if you're out in the valley areas where it's more flat. Probably not much of an issue. But here in the mountainy areas, neighborhoods, you'll see that play out in your landscapes. And so just enjoy the season as it cycles through. Right now, you are going to see some of your plants. So my vincas look terrible. I love summer blooming vincas. So I am going to rip those out this weekend, and I'm going to replace them with pansies and violas. I got some beautiful 1 gallon kind of mixed giant pansies. These are plants that love the fall, winter, and spring seasons. This is when they shine. Even when there's snow out in January, they're still blooming their heads off. They just love the cold. They're like the polar bears of the flower world, only with flowers. And so I'm going to plant those so they have time to fill in and flush and get more growth to them. And those plants that are looking a little off, well, they're coming out. And so my watermelons, I've picked those. They're done. And now the vines are withering. They're just kind of over. They're bringing me down. They're coming out, and I can make room for my fall and winter vegetables. Yes, you can grow those. I know the Midwest folks go, no, that's not possible. Oh, I've never seen that happen before. But you're not in Kansas anymore, Toto. This is God's country. We've got nice weather every day of the year, and you can have plants that appreciate that. You just have to cycle them at the right time. So now is the time you plant your cabbage, kale, broccoli, cauliflower, chives, your herbs like parsley, kale, kale. What else? Lavenders, sage. These are things that are evergreen. They love the cold. They're going to be beautiful. They like the cold. They do better. If you plant spinach too late in spring, it starts to bolt, turns off flavored. They don't like the heat. It makes it just taste funny. But now they like the cold. That's what brings the flavor out of these plants. This is what makes pansies and kale and cabbage. This is what makes snapdragons just shine when other things fade. There's a season for them. So there's cold-loving plants and there's hot-loving plants. You need to have a cycle for both. So plant accordingly. Right now, I'm starting to bring my color in closer to the house. And so as I see my summer blooming things, not like I've got one geranium that it's not getting enough light. It's a beautiful plant, but it's not blooming. I know it's going to run out of time. I'm ripping that thing out, even though it's fully alive. It's coming out, making room because it's right by my front door. I want something beautiful looking at me at Christmas dinner going, gosh, welcome, happy holidays to you and all your kin. Come on into the house. I want that thing blooming and shining gloriously. You can have those if you plant accordingly. So I think I'm going to put a snapdragon, a few pansies, maybe an ornamental kale, although I won't do that because that's by the front door. The javelina just they ravage my landscape in the front. The backyard is fenced. They can't get in. Front yard, I think I'll stick with things they can't really go after. They don't like snaps. They don't like mums. They don't like asters. They don't like certain things. I'll plant that. So I want something, though, that's colorful that greets me as the seasons progress. We're going to get our first frost typically by the end of this month. So the locals use Halloween as our first frost date. Now that's 100 years of data. I think the actual date is October 29, but locals kind of use holidays. Remember, I can't remember the 29th. I can remember Halloween though. Now last year it was, I think, the second week in November. We got our first frost. So it fluxes depending on the season. It feels a little chilly this year, so it might be a little early. I have no idea. But the 100-year average is Halloween. Just be prepared for that first frost. And what does that mean? That means the tomato plants that are just loaded up with fruit right now, you need to have sheets and frost cover ready because it's going to freeze and then it'll be nice again. And so we have these violent swings. It can be frosty. Oh my gosh, it's cold. Then it goes right back to glorious days again. That's how we're going to slowly go into winter. And they'll have this just very pleasant days through November, really through Thanksgiving. And then December hits, and then it's just cold. So just be ready for that first frost event. Don't be surprised. I let you know it's going to be in 2 or 3 weeks. And then it's going to be nice again. If you just keep them alive, you can get an extra, 20 tomatoes off that plant, extra set of zucchinis, extra, you can get extra. And then if they fade, just replace them. I'm aggressively replacing plants that are looking off right now. So the watermelons are coming out, the cucumbers are done, eggplants, I know I'm done with that. Tomatoes look fantastic. I think what I'm going to do is I've got so many tomatoes, I don't know what to do with them all. I have brought baskets full into the garden center, given them to staff, friends, and still I can't. I think I'm just going to pick the last few when the frost comes and let the plant go and just replace it. I'll just that spot. They're so huge right now. They're bigger than I am, and they're happy as can be. They love this time of year. So I think I'll just not cover them. Just going to pick the last few and let the plant go. And then I'll put in some. I do love kale, and you pick that right through winter. It's so healthy. It's so good in smoothies. I just love kale. My mouth's watering thinking about kale, and it tastes better through the winter. Parsley, it just produces like crazy when you plant it right now. If you plant things now, it's amazing how they grow. Have you noticed your roses? How beautiful they are. This is their time to shine. They get all their claim to fame in spring, but spring has all these issues. Brand new growth, the wind comes, you've got thrip and aphids all over the place. It's hard to get them out of the buds. Right now, there aren't any real thrip. There's a few aphids, not very many. They bloom a whole lot longer right now. They're bigger flowers, more of them. In fact, I wish I could get our industry to shift from bare root roses in spring. They're doing that just because they're cheap. There's a lot of failure. They take 2-3 years before they finally get up to size. But if you put a rose in now, they bloom through Thanksgiving. They root like crazy. It's actually a better experience by planting a rose now. I just can't get the industry to cycle their crop rotation so that they're glorious now instead of in March and April. Keep working on them. Keep trying. If you could find the rose you like, now is the time. Just fertilize them. You'll get some of the best blooms out of your established roses right now. Now's the time to really enjoy that, the colors. And so we have a lot in store for you. I've got Lisa Watters Lain coming in with your garden questions. Got to take a quick break. be right back.
Watters October companion plants that grow well together are blaze maple, burning bush, spicy mums, and glamour kale.
Few flowers are more elegant in fall than Watters Glamour Kale.
The autumn colors are perfect for containers, beds, and borders.
And it's so easy to grow.
This unique Prescott selection is an award winner for cold hardiness, intense red, purple flowers in a frilly package.
You'll find bright fall flowers here at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. And I have a special guest in the studio. My wife, Lisa Watters Lain, she comes in and just shares just what your neighbors are talking about, Q&A questions, what we're finding on Facebook, Instagram. People are asking questions from everywhere anymore. It's They got a device and they might be out. Had someone hiking around the other day going, "Hey kid, you know what this is?" Going, "How did you get my number? Where is this? Who is this?" I didn't pick it up, just saw the number.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's just how people connect anymore. So welcome to the studio, Lisa.
Thank you. Always good to be here. Oops, I'm messing with my microphone. Sorry.
Q&A?
Yes. So our first question is from Amanda. She has a beautiful coleus growing outside in a pot. She knows that it's only likes the warm weather, so she wants to bring it in before it's cold. Her question is, can you grow a coleus inside through the winter?
Yeah.
And if so, what kind of light inside your house would it want?
Yeah, the coleus is a great houseplant. Yeah, you can absolutely bring it indoors. There's a couple insider tips on before you do that. So first of all, they're huge. So they've been growing all season. You might consider pruning things back a little bit. Otherwise, it's going to take up some serious room inside your house. So give it a haircut. Just kind of let it. Now's the time. Take some of the spent flowers. I'll clean it up so it's not dropping things in your house. And then bring it in. Now, there's stuff living in the soil. You just have to be aware. So I would, before I brought in the worms and the centipedes and the things growing in that soil, and I would probably do two things. One, I would water it until water is just flooding out. Try to get some of those things, just flood them. Have water, give it triple the water amount. Just give it till it's gooey wet. Things are coming out. You'll find some things run away. Okay, that's one way. And then I would probably treat it with a systemic granule. So while it's outdoors, there's a granular that you sprinkle on the ground, you water it in, and as it goes to the soil, it kills off things that are still living in the soil. So you're going to have things living in there. I can't emphasize that enough. I've made that one a few times. Worms crawling across the carpet. That's never good. And so, but soil gnats, all kinds of stuff. I would also spray the top section. So I'd get some neem oil, something organic-y, spritz the foliage. So cut it back, spritz it, take your just to kill off eggs, things that are living on the foliage. Put the systemic granules on to kill things living in the soil. Let it out, keep it out there for a couple days, and then bring it indoors. Amanda was asking, what's the other one? Oh, light. How much light? Just a bright room. That's enough. So I would say the darkest room's probably not ideal, but right in front of that south facing, it's get blistering hot is not going to be ideal either. Just a nice bright room. It'll thrive, and you could bring it back outdoors and enjoy it again. Starting, usually frost is the end of April, first part of May. Just take it outside and have it, enjoy it for another year.
Those coleus do get big. I brought two home to plant by the front door. I was going to put them in the same pot. And of course I dropped one and completely broke it. So I only put one in the pot.
Yeah.
And thank heavens I did.
One's plenty. They grow fast.
It took over the entire thing, but it sure is pretty. And
they're spectacular.
Yeah. Coleus have that beautiful color. Definitely worth it to try and bring it in.
Yeah.
That's for sure. All right. So Aaron was on vacation, extended vacation for a long, long time. Came back home and the horehound has taken over his yard.
I thought he was going to say the irrigation failed or something. And then, where did you travel to, Aaron? I'm jealous.
I know. But he wants to know the best way to kill the horehound and prevent it from coming back.
Yeah. So horehound's a native weed. I don't know if it's native, but it's a nasty weed. It's pretty, actually. It's got a nice gray thing, but it's got a root that goes down to China, and it just propagates and keeps taking over entire pastures, entire front yards. And so if left unchecked, all you'll have left is horehound everywhere. So, and it is a perennial. So it's going to come back from the roots every year. So whereas goat head and tumbleweeds, some of these others, they come back by seed. So if you can control the seed, you can kind of get ahead of it. Horehound's not that way. You got to be more aggressive. Mm-hmm. The secret with this, you get a pump up sprayer, and then we've got a product here called Decimate. It's an alternative to Roundup. It's not as dangerous though, but it will obliterate horehound. Here's the insider tip. In the same tank, so mix it up at the recommended rate. I think it's a couple ounces per gallon. It goes a long ways. But add in the same container, add some spreader sticker. There's a liquid that you add to it that will penetrate that real fuzzy. Horehound has a texture to the foliage. Mm-hmm. And so the product wants to float on top of the leaf, and so you don't get the penetration. Spreader sticker forces it down onto the surface of that leaf, so you get a much faster, better, stronger knockdown, much more gratifying. The death rate will double. It's just a better way to go. If you don't do that, you'll have to use more product. It'll take longer for it to actually activate, and it may not kill it all the way because it just floated on top of that texture. So spreader sticker, anytime I'm spraying weeds, I add spreader sticker just because it makes everything kill much faster. So if I want to take that kind of energy and work, I want everything to die that I spray. I don't want you going yellow and looking at me, then coming back with a vengeance. No, when I get done with you, you're not going to think about coming back. So especially goat head, tumbleweeds, horehound, foxtail.
And Decimate only kills whatever it's sprayed on.
Correct. Yeah.
It's not going to move through the soil. It's not going to poison your soil.
Right.
Any of that. And then the other question was, how do you keep it from coming back? Since it's a perennial, you just got to kill it out.
I missed that one, Eric. Yeah. So there's a granular here. It's called Weed and Grass Stopper. So you can spread that on. In fact, in October, you should fertilize everything in the yard, all your trees, shrubs, everything. At the same time, especially for you, Aaron, put Weed and Grass Stopper in those areas where the weeds seem to really come back at you. What it does, it creates a barrier in the soil that does not allow the seed to put that taproot down. And so it just eliminates or greatly reduces the weed pressure coming at you, especially if you're in a windy area where just things roll in at you from the field across or down the driveway where the horehound is just gathering or the goat head is popping the tires of the tractors. Put it there. It'll take care of all the work for you. It'll pay for itself. And a bag covers, I think, 5,200 square feet, a long ways. Right. So spread it out, pray for rain the next month, and your weed problems are done.
Okay. So our next question is from Jake. He was in the store and saw a Black Hills spruce. His question is, can he grow it in a container because he's renting a house? He doesn't want to plant there. But can he grow that in a container?
Yeah, easily for years and years. I mean, so that's a Black Hill spruce is like a Colorado spruce, only pint size. It's smaller, has a tighter needle. It's a little bit greener. It's quite striking. Very, very Christmassy, holidays, very shapely to it. It's quite striking. The secret for you is going to be the size of the pot. So you could go with just the next size up. It would probably grow in the pot that's at the nursery here at the garden center for at least a year. If you went up the next size, you can get 2 years. If you went up 2 or 3 sizes, you could get 5 or 6 or more years. So bigger, the more soil you have for that tree to grow in, the more years you can enjoy it before it finally grows out of its pot. So yeah, go for it, Jake.
And watering for those guys, especially like in the winter, a lot of people don't think to water in the winter.
Maybe once a week is a good soak. Here's the thing with containers. Actually, any new planting that you're going to put in now went through, let's say, the new year. When you hear the weatherman going, it's going to be a cold one. There's a cold storm coming. Water everything. A hydrated plant goes through that cold event like it was nothing. It keeps all the antifreeze moving back and forth through the structure of the plant. And so especially if it's in a container or a raised bed where things are more confined, they can dry out a little bit, let's say, faster than out in the yard. Water that plant before that cold event comes. And it'll go through and not even feel the cold. It's kind of counterintuitive.
Yep.
You think drier is better, but not for plants. Wetter is better. So great question. We are out of time. So
Okay.
Ken and Lisa Lain, the Mountain Gardeners. Be right back. Watters' October companion plants that grow well together are blaze maples, spicy mums, glamour kale, and burning bush.
Watters' compact burning bush is a neat, well-behaved shrub prized for its blazing red foliage in the fall.
Looks great when planted with autumn gold sumacs, lilacs, and gold euonymus.
At 6 foot, this bush makes a natural hedge that burns red through autumn.
You'll find the showiest shrubs here at Watters Garden Center.
Siri, give me directions to Watters Garden Center.
So let me see if I can break down autumn fertilizer. It's the most important feeding of the entire year, no question, and it's the most misunderstood. Let me see if I can take a moment and just guide you right through this thing. First of all, why? So plants are starting to shut down. Their leaves are turning. They're going to start hibernating underground, and there's a process that plants go through while they're doing that. And one of them is they're storing up tremendous amounts of food in their root structure. That's why autumn planting is so good, so much stronger root growth because it's cool out, the soil's warm, and the plants are starting to slow down, and they're elongating these tremendous amounts of root growth. It sets a stage for twice as much growth next spring. You're going to get, especially evergreens, spruce, pine, fir, cedar, cypress, junipers. They're all going to prefer planting now, and then they wake up and you get a bigger plant next spring by doing that. But all plants are doing that. The other one is you can take advantage of certain minerals that help accentuate the beauty and the color. And so that blue color you see coming out on blue spruce and blue junipers and the silvery blue colors, that's basically the plants are picking up aluminum, and they're taking green foliage and they're coating it in this aluminum white bluish color, and it gives it this illusion. You can actually take your thumb and rub the needles on, let's say, a Colorado blue spruce, and you can wipe that blue right off. That's aluminum the plant is picking up and creating this luxurious, beautiful depth to the plants. We don't have a lot of aluminum in our soil, especially if you just graded off your lot and put a house down and all the topsoil is gone. You really don't have anything. So those plants will start to turn green more and more as the seasons go by. So for my blue plants, I'm actually adding in the fall some aluminum sulfate. That's the actual mineral. We've got it at the store. So it's aluminum sulfate. We're deep. This is like plant food 301 now. We're way up there. But you're bringing out specifically certain traits of plants in your landscape. The core, without doubt, you need to use a good granular organic fertilizer, all natural food that you sprinkle on top of the rock. And as we get rains and snows now through the end of the year, it slowly breaks down and the plant root zone just kind of gets fertilized over the next quite a few weeks. So many fertilizers you buy from the box stores, they're chemicals. They're made to release instantaneously. They work great in the summer, but in the fall, terribly ineffective. You're better off using organic. It's safer for you, safer for birds, safer for your dogs. It's just safer. It just makes sense. Use organic fertilizers instead of synthetics, especially since all of us in the mountains, all of us are drinking groundwater. We don't want this stuff going in the ground and we get to pick it up, 5 years from now. And especially if you're out there in the country on a well, you want to use organic fertilizers. So we make one here. It's called All-Purpose Plant Food. 744. It's bird guano and cottonseed meal and some other goodies in there. I've got an all organic fruit tree and vegetable food. It's granular. We've already done the science. We've just pelletized it. Now it's easy to spread. You sprinkle that out around the drip line underneath that outer branches of your trees and shrubs. And as those foods break down, it will pick that food up. And so it's a good long-term growth. This is extremely important for things that bloom in the spring. Fruit trees. This is the most important fertilizing of the entire year for anything that blooms. Fruit trees, lilacs, forsythia, I would say roses, I would say hollies, rhododendrons, azaleas, things that bloom in the spring. This is your opportunity to really bring them out. If you don't do that, you won't have as many, the flowers won't be as big, they won't have the same fragrance, there won't be as many of them. And some plants like lilacs, they're famous for they just stop blooming unless you fertilize these things. There's not enough food in your natural soil that's going to help your plants. You need to supplement that. And so all-purpose plant food, aluminum sulfate for those things that are kind of bluish, they love the acidity. And then secondly, anything that is stressed out. So this summer was hot. And so we're seeing some damaged leaves. We're seeing some black spot. We're seeing fire blight. Any kind of stress on plants, it affects the root growth. So if a plant is stressed, or you've got a brand new landscape, you just went in this year, last couple of years, and you want them to be bigger, you need more roots. And the way you encourage roots is by giving it humic, H-U-M-I-C, humic, or humic acid. It's also granular. You use this in addition to your regular plant food. The core is the 744 all-purpose plant food. You put that down on everything right now. The plants that are a little bluer, give it aluminum sulfate. Things that are stressed or brand new, you want more roots, give it humic at the same time. Anytime, and I would say do all of this before Halloween. I mean, there's some urgency to this. I mean, and your cue always every fall is when you see the fall color. When the aspens are turning, the maples are turning, you're just seeing, oh, there's fall in the air. That's your cue. Go ahead and fertilize everything in the yard. It's important. This is the time. Take advantage of the moisture that's still coming our way. Nature can really help you out in this respect. Watters' October companion plants that grow well together are blaze maples, burning bush, Arizona creeper, glamour kale, and spicy mum.
Watters' spicy mums are best sellers for super long bloom times and local garden tuck.
Spicy mums glow yellow with a halo of fiery orange around each daisy flower.
These big, bold perennials are perfectly shaped and add color in autumn when few flowers are in peak blooms.
You'll find bright fall flowers here at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. And we are back in the studio with Lisa Watters Lain. She's a garden extraordinaire, has a lot of talent, beautiful gardens.
Mm-hmm.
And so I can't believe the number of tomatoes you are picking. Stop bringing those to the kitchen. There's mountains of them. It's ridiculous.
It is.
Cucumbers. We need more. We got to create a relish, a cucumber soup, something.
We need recipes. If you have a good recipe for fresh tomatoes, fresh cucumbers, zucchini, we need some ideas.
I love the jalapeno soup you made this week. It was kind of just peppers and some zucchinis going in some fresh herbs. Oh my gosh, my mouth's watering just thinking about it. It was so good. But that's the beauty of gardening.
Yes,
it forces you to figure out. I grew this new Japanese Oriental eggplant. What do you do with those? Oh, here we go.
Oh wait, I don't like eggplant.
So you just kind of get creative with this. Kind of, how do I can this? What kind of leathers can you make with that? Right. What kind of, sangria can you make with cucumbers? You can do with mint and basil, or it's kind of fun to kind of play with those things.
About that, but we'll see. Yeah.
So what do you got for us?
Well, yes, we are harvesting lots of things, but I also know we're kind of getting to the end of the season. It's officially fall.
It is
now.
Yeah.
So I put together my fall to-do list.
Perfect.
I know you have yours.
Yeah.
This one's mine.
I love it. Love to share it. I'll try not to jump in.
We'll see how that works out. So first thing I recommend, and I do this every year and people go, oh yeah, I should have done that. But if you have a certain vegetable, certain tomato that you just loved and you thought it did really well, keep the tag or take a picture of the tag. Because I cannot tell you how many times people come back in and go, I bought it here last year. It was green.
It had green leaves. It got up head high. It was red.
Right. And I cannot tell you how many varieties of tomatoes, peppers, flowers, you name it. And I will guarantee you, I cannot remember all of them. Yeah. So just taking a quick picture of that tag or throwing it in a baggie and saving it. If
Yep.
you're not into digital, you can still save it.
Everyone has a camera phone. It's too easy to go click. I got it.
Yeah.
So
And
instead of
just-
can I find it in my pictures later? That's the question.
That's a good question.
So,
The other thing is, if you had like a container gardening combination that you really liked, like you put certain flowers together, certain colors, and you're like, oh my gosh, I love that. Take a picture of it,
Yeah.
because you will not remember next year what it was. So it just kind of saves you that time later on. The other thing to think about is where you put things this year. Ask yourself, did they do well? So did my tomatoes do good in this spot? Maybe you need to rotate things around the yard. It's always wise, especially with vegetables,
yeah.
to rotate
flowers.
things around, even
Yeah.
flowers. Yeah. So just kind of taking some notes, taking some pictures can just save you a lot of aggravation next spring.
I think the reason gardeners forget what they planted last year,
Mm-hmm.
I think we got to blame it on eggnog. Something, it's that holiday season, something about we've got the holidays coming. So you ended in fall, you're about to go with spring, and then I think eggnog gets in the way or something.
Blanks your memory.
Yeah,
Huh?
it's just like erases stuff. I can't remember.
Pull out those tired looking annuals.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
They're
gosh.
just bringing you down. I know you want to wait till the very last second and you have the frost and get your money's worth out of them. But seriously, now is a great time to get rid of those calabacoas, the geranium, things that are just looking
Yeah.
And it's great to get those violas in, the pansies, the snapdragons, the heucheras. The sooner you kind of get them in and get them rooted out, they're going to be much happier going through wintertime.
I think people, they want to get their money's worth, and they're afraid to kill something. It's looking, it's so big. It treated me so well.
Mm-hmm.
But then you're doing disjustice for the things that you're going to plant later. So the violas, the pansies,
Mm-hmm.
the winter blooming things,
right.
They need their due as well. So if you give them time to root out, you'll get more enjoyment out of those if you kill the things now, pull them out, make it more room. So you can have color year round here.
Oh, definitely.
Because it's so mild if you time it right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the transition right now.
Definitely. So if you have some things that are like some sedums or succulents that you know are not winter hardy, or say there's something you want, maybe some coleus you want to bring in and treat like a houseplant or a mandevilla. Now is the time to think about getting those ready to move in, because that cold's going to strike when you're not ready for it, and then you're going to be caught flat-footed. So a lot of those pots that have been outside for the season, you probably want to treat them before you bring them back inside. So the systemic granules are excellent for that. They'll kill off any insects that are hanging out in that soil. The flies, those little gnats that love to hang around, the fungus gnats. So you kind of want to get them treated and cleaned up so you can move them inside. So a lot of people wait too long, then they find out a frost is coming, and they're like, "Oh my god!"
It's Halloween. Yeah, Halloween is our first frost. So you got 3 weeks. You got some time.
But it can hit early too.
If you just take that coleus and bring it indoors, you will be stunned at the crawly, creepy things that come out of the pot when you're bringing it indoors.
Right.
So I say trim it back, so it's more house plant size instead of patio size. Just get it down to size. Spray the foliage. I would say with triple actions or organic spray, because there's things on the foliage and there's things in the ground. Then you treat it with the systemic granules. That'll go through the soil, killing off the
insects, the icky, creepy, crawly
fungus gnats.
You don't want them in your house.
Centipedes, and I mean, just all kinds of stuff are in there.
Right.
And then bring it indoors before Halloween. You'll be happy that you did that. You'll be happy, and you know it. My pants. You'll be happy anyway.
Okay. So it's a good time to shape up. So those summer blooming shrubs. So the butterfly bush that have kind of gone out of bloom, trim the blossoms off. You don't want to do major pruning. Don't do that. But you can trim up your blossoms on some of the things, Rose of Sharon's, butterfly bush. What are some other things that kind of
You might be able to trim off the rosebuds, and they'll you got enough time, they might actually bloom again. I mean, it's not, that would not surprise me a bit, or it will hold on to that new flower bud for all winter. So trim back the rosebud, the spent rosebuds.
Right. But don't do any major pruning, but just kind of cleaning them up, making them look a little spiffier.
Give them a haircut.
Yeah, because they've done hard work all summer long. They need a little cleanup. Also, think about where you want to put some evergreen shrubs in.
I like it.
So we look at so many of our yards are just blooming stuff or just deciduous stuff. So they're leaves right now, but they're going to be dropping those leaves in another month or so. And then you have a yard that just looks
Naked. Yep.
So
better.
think about where you want to put those evergreens. We have some beautiful evergreen trees and shrubs in right now. It's the best time to look at those things because you're not going to get distracted by all the other stuff. So, because every yard, what do you always say? 25% or more?
Yeah,
of evergreen?
20% should be of your plants should be evergreen of some sort. Evergreen trees, evergreen
Right.
shrubs, something. And I would say you can do evergreens in containers. So if you got a flower bed, flower garden like container, and you want a holly in there or
Yeah,
an Adena, or
definitely.
they do really well in containers. They'll keep their foliage. They look fantastic.
Right.
They almost are more handsome than some of your flowery things in
Yeah.
winter.
And we'll do that. We
Yeah.
rip out some of that flowering stuff and put in some pretty evergreens that we can kind of decorate through the fall and winter with. So good idea, dear.
Yeah, full of it.
He's
Alberta
thinking.
spruce. You want
Oh,
a
yeah.
holiday-looking Christmas tree looking at the front door? It's a great one in containers. It's the number
It
one
is.
seller as far as evergreen
Yeah,
goes.
very fun to decorate. And also, I think, and this is one I know you mentioned, but fertilize.
Yeah, can't say it
People,
enough.
you
People
need
don't listen.
to fertilize. You know, people come from different parts of the country, and I get it. You never really had to fertilize there, but you're not there anymore.
Yeah.
And it makes a huge difference in how your trees go through the winter, how they wake up in the spring, and just how they perform throughout the year.
The most important feeding of the entire year is autumn. And you mark it by whenever you see the aspens turn gold or the maples turn red, that's your cue. It's time to fertilize. The most important, you need don't use water soluble, use granular organic fertilizers, preferably bought from Watters Garden Center. But we make our own, but just use an organic granular food and it's going to be a game changer. Thank you, Lisa. Great advice this week. Excuse me, Lisa's guide to better gardens. Be right back after this.
Prescott Blaze maple is the fastest local tree with brilliant red foliage.
Prescott Blaze maples grow 3 feet each year. That's fast.
Prescott Blaze maples are perfect for patios or any place a shade tree is needed.
We have a limited number of huge, instant Prescott Blaze maples.
The maples are brighter in Prescott at Watters Garden Center.
Or shop online at top10trees.com. So one area that confuses a lot of new gardeners are bulbs like iris and tulips and daffodils and hyacinth and muscares. There's all freesias. There's all these spring blooming bulbs, but you have to be a true gardener to deal with bulbs because you're planting them now for next spring. 6 months from now, they'll be in bloom. So you have to really be thinking ahead. I mean, it's a true gardener's delight because you're planning ahead. But if you're a rookie, you're seeing the daffodils bloom out there, the iris bloom out there, the tulips, and you're going, oh, I want some of those. But it's too late. You had to back up and plant those back in the fall. That's when you put them in. The other challenge is, I mean, I have not sold bulbs here at Watters Garden Center for 20 years. They're a commodity. You buy them from a box store in some just pretty box. They're in a bag of sawdust with a shriveled, bad quality, terrible grade. And I couldn't get the growers to get me a decent grade. I'm a premier boutique garden center. This is high end. We're not just some box thing selling plants under the dim lights of some fluorescent bulb. We're actually we're a botanical garden. And our plants are a higher grade. There are different grades. There's A grade, B grade, contractor grade, and then there's it's going to the dumpster. You want one? There's actually 4 different grades. We're the same with bulbs. There's different grades. There should be, but there weren't. So they were shriveled. They were bad. If you've had kind of failures in the past, it's because you had an old bulb that should never have been out there for sale. So what did I do? Well, I've got friends. And so I know the growers, they're friends of mine who grow bulbs. Most bulbs are grown in Holland. That's where they're at. They harvest those. They put them in coolers. They ship them across the the base of the pond. They have a warehouse here that's refrigerated and cool. Then they'll package them and send them off to the different warehouses or different retailers or different box stores or different where just they're shipping them out. Then they sit there and slowly dry. The second they come out of that cooler, they start to age and shrivel. And it just affects the size and the quality and the experience. If we can direct ship from that farmer's main category and ship it right to your door, that is the best. The bulbs will be firmer, they'll be fuller, they'll be voluptuous. You plant those and they will take off with better flowers next spring. So instead of having bulbs here at the garden center, we have a website that we set up, and you direct ship it right from my buddy, and it goes right to your door. I'm kind of the middleman helping you get the best access to the best colors, the best, freshest, highest quality. And so I kind of know who's growing the better bulbs. Some of them are trashy. I mean, I've had, what experience I have. I can't share that because I bought it from a box store. I wanted some bulbs. I'm a gardener. I like bulbs. But they say 100 bulbs in a bag for $19.99. And I went, okay, that seems like a fair price, but some of the bulbs are so tiny, they're the size of a pea. That is not fair. You cannot count that. That is not real. That is cheesy marketing spin. That's unfair advertising. That's not, you shouldn't be doing that. These are actually grade A, bigger bulbs. And so you can plant those in. Now here's the insider. So where do you go? Top 10 bulbs, top, like a top, the number 10 bulbs.com takes you right to the landing page. You can do your own research. I wanted to cover, though, in this segment, when do you plant each one? So there's different waves of them. So you start with your iris. Iris really should be planted before the ground gets cold and frosty. So they want to root out early. So we start planting those in September and October. So you should feel some urgencies. If you want bearded iris next spring, you should be planting those like immediately. Go buy them now, ship them, get them in the ground. I need to get those in now. But regular bulbs, your freesias and muscaries and hyacinth and tulips and daffodils and alliums are spectacular here because the javelina won't eat them. Daffodils are spectacular here because the javelina won't eat them. Tulips, be careful. Make sure they're in the backyard where the javelina will eat those. And so there's different grades. We actually set up a site, javelina resistive bulbs. We just curated them for you so you don't make a mistake and put food out there and have them all disrupted. And so we've got different, we've tried to package them for you so you won't make a mistake. We've got fresher bulbs. Now, your regular bulbs should be planted after your first frost. So it's a little bit early. So we've been selling daffodils, alliums, some of these others, but they haven't quite shipped yet. They're about to ship. So I'm trying to hold them off, going, don't give them to my folks. I don't want them planting them too early. Then they start to come up out of the ground, and then they're out of the ground for all winter. You want them to start rooting, but then stay underground, and then they start emerging at the first spring thaw. There's a timing thing there, and you got to be almost spot on with that. And so really the best time to plant bulbs here, I mean, not iris are early, but everything else is planted really the end of this month through November, basically. Maybe the first part of December, but really it's the end of this month, the first part of November. That is your time for all your spring blooming bulbs. Now, just let me give a caveat here. There's also an entire series of summer blooming bulbs. These are dahlias, lilies. There's several of them that bloom in the summer. Now, those do not winter over with us typically. And so we don't sell those bulbs now. We wait, and you'll be able to get those in the spring season. So you plant those when the risk of freezing ground is over, typically like April, very first part of May. That's your window. So there's very specific windows on when you plant certain things. And if you missed that, you'll see bulbs for sale in December. They're the leftover dredges. I mean, they're just, I'm embarrassed to look at them going, they take $1 for that. They should be paying you to take those away, not having you pay them. They just should not be sold. They're not fresh. They're not going to do you well. They aren't going to come up. You need to get the timing right. So bulbs are the way. They're beautiful. They're spectacular. Top10bulbs.com. They direct ship. I just planted a second wave of iris a couple weeks ago. And so they came in like 2-3 days. They were in my doors, planted them just like that. I just had my first, I've had several daffodils. I love daffodils because they're pretty. There's lots of new colors. They're so resistive to rabbits and deer and antelope and javelina that just things don't eat that. So they're perfect for here. They're long lived. They come back for years and years. They're just a good, strong grower. Allium, spectacular. It's basically an ornamental onion, basically, or garlic. It's a big old pom-pom, purpley flower to it. Not all of them are purple, but mostly blues and purples. And they're just got a beautiful structure to them. They stand tall. They wave in the wind. They're a good plant for you. And the animals aren't going to bother them. So that's the insider scoop on bulbs. Here's another one for you folks in that heavy clay soil. Bulbs will rot. If they sit there, and they do it in March, you sit there in the soil and you get that heavy, wet snow in March, and they're just sitting there gooey. Just they want to be able to breathe. They need air around that bulb to properly bloom right. If not, the bacterias and stuff will start to eat at the sugars inside this bulb, and it just rots there. So make sure it drains. That's why I think we underplay planting bulbs in containers. It's just, they're so beautiful. Plant bulbs, plant a whole bunch of tulips underneath the pansies or the kale you're going to have for your winter blooming color. And then come spring, the bulbs come up through the winter flowers like snapdragons and alyssums and stock and all these different winter flowers. And it's just striking. You can have layers of colors coming through, and then you get out of this risk of having your plants, your roots rot from your bulbs. That's the insider scoop, top10bulbs.com. Not promoting that, just letting you know why maybe you haven't succeeded before and how to succeed.
Watters October companion plants that grow well together are blaze maple, burning bush, spicy mums, and glamour kale.
Few flowers are more elegant in fall than Watters Glamour Kale.
The autumn colors are perfect for containers, beds, and borders.
And it's so easy to grow.
This unique Prescott selection is an award winner for cold hardiness, intense red, purple flowers in a frilly package.
You'll find bright fall flowers here at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. Now, something that gardeners should be aware of is that birds are now migrating. They're going back and forth, north and south. They're going north to south. And so your hummingbirds will be here for a while, but eventually they're going to head down to the desert. They say sometimes some varieties go down to, like, I don't know, South America. I think they just go to Phoenix. Why would they travel all that far? They just want to go where it's warm. And the flowers are blooming down there. And so your other birds, the summer birds, will, again, take off down south where it's warmer. And then some of the northern birds, they'll camp out down here because this is warmer for them. And so you're seeing the robins will be coming down. Some birds don't migrate, quail, that kind of thing. So right now, watch your feeders. Keep them full. Don't let them go empty. So I would say that would be hummingbirds, because some of them are migrating south and they'll camp out at your feeder for several days while they're recharging, resting, juicing up, and then they'll start heading off again. So this is an important time for birders out there. I would say don't cut back your echinaceas, gaillardias, things that have big seed heads. Let those plants, we've been pinching those back for all season. They've been in bloom all season. I'm now letting all of my perennial flowers go to seed, and I'm letting those be a food source for my winter birds that camp out and hang out at my house throughout the winter. This is warm to them. They're getting out of the misery cold of Wyoming and Montana, and they're super cold. They're coming down here where it's nice cold for them. And so watch your feeders. I'd say, just kind of know that is happening in your gardens, and look for it, because you'll see some magical things at the feeders. It's amazing how many varieties will show up. I've had over 90 varieties of birds here at Watters Garden Center, over close to 100 different species of birds showing up here if you're looking at the entire seasonal changes of things. And so, kind of an offer, and we're kind of setting this up. It's a soft launch. You're the first to know. I have 2 camera-driven bird feeders that has AI overlaid them into them that will identify the bird that stops by your feeder. Then it'll beam it to you so you can see it on your phone. So it's got Wi-Fi'd, AI'd identification of birds. We're thinking of it as a kind of a gift idea for the holidays. We're coming up into it. And so we're soft launching this. You'll be the first to know, and then we'll kind of start putting the all push on it. I've got several dozen available. If you want to take a look at those, kind of fun. I ordered 2 for myself. Take a look at them at wattersgardencenter.com. They are kind of the top range. They are high quality. They're not the cheapy ones. They're actually good quality built bird feeders with all the tech built into them. I can't wait to see the different varieties in my own backyard. I bought a couple of them for gifts for folks, just thinking, I know they're gardeners. I know what they want. So take a look at those at wattersgardencenter.com, or watch our social media feeds. They'll be floating through. If you're part of our ecosystem, you can't miss it. I would say also, don't forget as you're hanging feeders, the 5-7-9 rule. So you want feeders about 5 feet away from windows. That way the birds can't generate enough speed to hit their head and hurt themselves on your window. So about 5 feet away. They want to be 7 feet off the ground. That keeps them away from cats and animals, that kind of stuff. And 9 feet apart from each other feeders. You want each feeder to be about 9 feet apart. So it's the 5-7-9 rule. So 5 feet away from windows, 7 feet off the ground, 9 feet away from each other for healthy, in case diseases get inside these. Kind of keeps your birds happy and healthy here at Watters Garden Center. Watters October companion plants that grow well together are blaze maples, burning bush, Arizona creeper, glamour kale, and spicy mum.
Watters Spicy Mums are best sellers for super long bloom times and local garden tuck.
Spicy mums glow yellow with a halo of fiery orange around each daisy flower.
These big, bold perennials are perfectly shaped and add color in autumn when few flowers are in peak blooms.
You'll find bright fall flowers here at Watters Garden Center in Prescott. For a more fruitful garden, increase success in the landscape that just feels better, then tune in daily to the Mountain Gardener podcast. Subscribe through your favorite podcast streamer or visit wattersgardencenter.com. Better yet, visit me directly right here at Watters Garden Center. Thanks for tuning in.